Hey guys, I'm back with another hair how-to, and I've gotten so many questions about lock repair. I have a few locks in the front that I've sewn together in the past, and here, let's see if I can show you one. Here's one that I sewed together. The ends have kind of come apart, but I sewed this one together because the two were so thin. So I've gotten a lot of questions about how to do it. It's super, super easy, and I figured that I would show you instead of tell you about it. So when you have locks that are thin, there are a lot of different options to thicken them up, and one of them I actually just kind of discovered on accident. Let me see if I can find one that I can use as my example. Okay, so this is a good example. This one has gotten kind of thin in the middle right here. Now, because this is thin towards the end, I don't really need to sew this one together. So what I do instead is I actually knot the lock where the part is really thin on a thicker part of the lock to strengthen it. So all I do is tie it in a knot, and you just want to kind of take that little piece and wiggle it around until you get the thinnest part of the lock, which is this part right here, till you get that on the knot. That way it'll strengthen it a little bit. And you kind of have to like play around with it to get it in the right spot. And you might even knot it more than once. Here, let me try this again. Alright, so there's one. You can see it right there. And then what you do is palm roll it together, which will help smooth out the knot so it's not so obvious. The other option that you have is to actually sew your locks together. I'm going to use this one as my example, but if you were to just do two separate locks, what you would do is twist them together like so. Sew them together like this, and then palm roll them. But I'm just going to use this one as my example. All right, I'm using a regular old needle and black thread, and you should use whatever color matches your locks best. I've sewed some of these blonde ones together, and I've used a very light brown thread. You just want to make sure it's not going to be really visible. What I'm going to do is you have a few different options. You can twist them together like this, or you can just put them side by side. I like to twist them together because if they're side by side, they might gap. So I twisted them together, and then what I do is I run the needle, make sure that you knot it on the end. It's not that big of a deal, but you don't want it to slide right through. And then I'm basically taking the needle and running it in between each lock. So I make sure that I go into one lock and then into the other one. Ow. Make sure that you don't poke yourself like I just did. Okay. So I just went through this lock. So now I'm going to go through the other one. And as usual, there's really no definite way to do this. You just want to make sure that you continue to go and see. Look, you can see right here. It goes through both of them, and then I pull them together. Oh, there we go. Oh, my hands are kind of sweaty. You can see this part's already closing up. And basically what I just do is continue to sew all the way down. And then the trick that I have found that helps keep them together is to go back. So go down the locks and then go back up. And I sewed mine together, I want to say 3 years ago. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it was three, maybe 4 years ago. And since then, I mean, they've really held. I've only found every once in a while I might see a little piece of thread sticking out. I'm going to just trim it. Okay, so look, I'm down at the end. Another thing that you could do is you could actually just run the needle through the middle of the thread, which is fine. I mean, honestly, this camera kind of sucks, but you really can't see the thread at all. So what I'm just doing is running the needle through the middle again. And I'm just trying to get all of those spots in the middle where I can see holes in between them. Okay, so now we're back at the top, and I'm just going to go through the middle. And that's how I'm gonna knot it. Just make a regular old knot. I'm gonna go through a few times because I want this to be a decent knot. And make sure that you don't knot in the same spot. Oh my gosh, I'm just saying the most ridiculous things. Don't knot in the same spot so that it isn't very obvious. Notice I didn't say not very obvious. Okay, then I just cut it so you don't see the thread. And now I'm just gonna palm roll these bad boys together, which will help smooth out the twist. And you might want to do this like every day or so, or right when you get out of the shower, so it will help. And there you go. Look at that. No one will ever be the wiser. All right. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys later.